Hey there, so Marcus here. And for once I'm on camera as well, and that actually has a reason because we're gonna use me as context. So it might be important that you at least have seen me. The context we're gonna use though is an image of me. So this image, where I wear glasses, think about that as well when you see the end result. And we take this web page as well, which is the page from the AI Interpolator's documentation that is about the AI Interpolator. And we're just gonna take this link and we're gonna take this image, and out from the AI Interpolator we're gonna have a video of an avatar of me talking in my voice in rhyme about the history of the AI Interpolator. And this is completely dynamically created, so you can take any link and take any image and get the avatar of that image talking in any kind of Elevenlabs voice about any website. So while this is pretty gimmicky, to be honest, the DID module can be used for a lot of less gimmicky stuff. Say, for instance, that you have a workflow where you have a user that is high-end for you, that has registered on your website. You could then have the CEO of your company welcoming that person in a personalized video, which is pretty cool, right? Or you could actually do, instead of a chatbot, if someone asks a question, you could actually answer with a video answering the question. So there's a lot of possibilities there. As usual, this is open source, this is free. So this is based on Drupal, which is a content management system. This is the AI Interpolator that I built on top of this. So I will show the workflow end to end, how to set it up. It requires no code. It's just basically clicking around to set it up. But before we do that, you can be a judge for yourself if you want to actually continue with this. So I will show the end result first.
In the realm of tech, where ideas fuse and sprawl, the AI Interpolator arose standing tall. From merging of texts, it got its birthright name. Now with 50+ rules, it's no longer the same. It aims to create workflows, chains that bind, to generate content, leaving none behind. With future dreams of agents, project leads in Jira and Slack fulfilling all your needs. Finished.
So before I just start showcasing how to set this up, I just want to remind people that haven't seen it, there's a website called Workflows of AI. So it has dashes in it, where you can basically look at all the workflows I have done so far to see what you can do with AI Interpolator. So yeah, look into this webpage if you don't know about it. You can of course follow me, subscribe on YouTube if you rather do this, but on this webpage you can filter by which modules it has been used and so on. So yeah, look into that, Workflows of AI. So what we're going to use as context to start with is this page. It's part of the documentation for AI Interpolator. So it's, if you just Google Drupal AI Interpolator documentation or something, you're gonna find it. There's a subpage here that's talking about the history of why this was built. On top of that, then the plugins, we can just show you here on available plugins. We're gonna use the ID to generate the video. We're gonna use Elevenlabs field to generate the audio. We're gonna use OpenAI to generate a new image. So it's gonna describe my image and then it's gonna generate a new image of this. And we're gonna also use the simple crawler to basically crawl this page then. So this is Drupal standard installation. I just installed these plugins, then I have set them up. So if you go to web service DID config, for instance, you have to add your DID key, same with Elevenlabs settings and so on. And if you're not from the Drupal world, just Google installing modules in Drupal. This is the image, by the way, I'm gonna use as context. So that's an image of me. It's gonna basically describe this and generate another image of this, is the idea. So we'll start by adding a content type that we call avatar video. just disable some stuff here. That's typical CMS stuff. So if you're not from the Drupal world, this is the way you can do it in the GUI, but if you want to create something scaling, you should use something called custom entities. We remove the body field, we don't need it in this case, we're not going to create a web page. And then we start filling in the fields. First of all, the fields that are required to fill in. So that's going to be the link. So the link where it fetches the context. We're going to use external links only. We're going to disable link text. Save that. Sorry, we're also gonna, I edit it again, we're gonna make it required because that's one of the fields we need to fill in. Create another field that is required, and that's the image field. So this is in source image, we call that, and we save. We make this also required. We don't need an alt field, it's not used for a web page. And then we're gonna start interpolating. So we start with the link to HTML. So that's formatted text, text formatted long, we call that HTML. So where it's gonna take the link now, it's gonna scrape it and put it into this HTML field, right? So we say full HTML, we allow all HTML. We're gonna use the rule simple crawler. It's gonna be in base mode based on the link field. So it takes the link field, scrapes it, and puts it into this field. We add a user agent here because Drupal.org requires a user agent. We do article segmentation, so that basically makes sure that we're just getting the actual article and not all the links here on the right side or the header and so on. And we set a very low weight. I'm gonna use batch mode in this case. If you're doing this for real, especially with the video, you should do it on the cron job because it takes time to generate videos, or in a queue worker. So that's our first step. Oh, let me check something. I'm gonna set a really low weight if I didn't do that as well. No, I did 50 because this has to run first, right? From this now, we want to generate an audio. So I'm just gonna do, first of all, I'm gonna call this the real MP3. So that's the real audio that we're gonna store. This is because of how the Elevenlabs field works. I'm gonna try to create Elevenlabs field to the ID rule, so you don't have to take this step in between. But for now, I will do this basically. You have to allow MP3 on this. So this is gonna take the generated dialogue and put this in a MP3, right? All right, so this has a bug here. This is not gonna happen when you do it. I need to fix a bug here on the DID module. And then we're gonna create the Elevenlabs field, and that's gonna be in charge of generating a dialogue from the body of the HTML, right? So this we call dialogue. And since this split up in many, we have to set unlimited, and that's why we want to concatenate in this case, right? So we're gonna use the real MP3, and we're gonna concatenate using FFmpeg, enable the AI Interpolator. We're gonna do the dialogue creator, so that creates dialogue in Elevenlabs. We're gonna base it on the HTML, and then I'm gonna write a prompt here with the voice, and here we need to use placeholders. Just search Marcus. So I'm gonna use my voice that I've already trained Elevenlabs on. With the voice, Marcus Johansson, create a 4-sentence rhyming monologue on the history of the thing written in the context. And here we use the context, and context in this case is the HTML. So basically we're saying with this voice, create a 4-sentence rhyming monologue about the history based on the HTML, right? This has to be higher, of course, than the HTML. We set batch here as well. We use GPT-4 Turbo because we need good results. GPT 3.5 just doesn't do good enough results in this case, especially if we want rhyming. And then we have the audio generated. So then the next step comes. that we want to do a image description, right? So we take plain text plain long, and this is then gonna be enable in AI Interpolator. We're gonna base this on the image, so we do string long. We do advanced mode in this case. Oh, so I have installed the token module. That's something that you need to install to get the advanced mode up and running. Because in this case, we're not basing it on some other field, text field. We're basing it on an actual image field, right? So we just write a prompt here based on the image, write one paragraph of actually, I'm just gonna do this. I'm gonna set this unlimited because sometimes it might generate it might split it up, because when I'm asking for 4 sentences, it might read it that it wants to create 4 different values, right? So because of that, I set unlimited, so we don't just get one of the pieces. So write one paragraph of 4 sentences with a descriptive text describing the person in the image in detail. Mention things like color of clothes, what type of clothes, gender, calculate age, hair color, skin type, glasses, or other I don't know that word. Other accessories. Yeah, that's enough. Also describe the background shortly. This is for an image prompt. Also add short depth of field in the end. So that's what I have on my image. Maybe it forgets it, so I just adds it there, so he or it remembers to generate this. And context, then in this case, no, sorry, I don't need a context. I'm stupid. We don't have a context. It's just the image. And under advanced settings now, we set lower weight batch. It's important that you use GPT-4 Vision Preview, because that is the only thing that can read images. And here you can then set an image field to use, and we use the source image. So this will generate this. Then I will generate a file upload, which is an image, and this will be the created image then. So this is what we're gonna create the image on, based on that prompt that we had. So once again, I disable alt field. We don't need it. It's not a web page. Enable AI Interpolator Dall-E. We're gonna generate images. We base it on the image description, context, and that's it. We just take the image description as it is, right? Set this to 90, batch, Dall-E 3. We want HD and a neutral image. And this will create the image, and the last thing we need to create then is another file upload, which is the video avatar, which is a file that will be of type MP4. Enable AI Interpolator. We use the ID avatar from audio, base mode. We're gonna use the real MP3 as the base field, so that's the audio we created, and then the expression of the person it generates face is neutral. I'm gonna use image field, not the image URL, and we're gonna use the created image in this case, right? And we set the highest weight, we set 110 just to be sure if I had 100 somewhere. And now it's gonna chain all these things together. On the manage display, I would just make sure that I just show the video. We don't care about the other thing, we just care about the result, right? And this should be a video then, and we save that, and then we're gonna create this. So we create the avatar video. I have to set a title because I'm using content or nodes, content types in Drupal, so I would just set a video here. And then link, take this link. This is the correct, right? Yeah, why was it built, future? And then I'm gonna take my screenshot here that I have. And that's it. The rest I'm not gonna fill in. That's gonna be filled in now. So now it's gonna start chaining, hopefully 5 rules. Yes, because that's what we added. 4 out of these 5 rules will be simple. To generate the video generation takes time, just so you know that, and that's why you need to put it in a cron job, unless you have, like me, I have on my local server that it just doesn't time out the PHP worker or the Nginx server. So, but that comes with complications or security problems, of course. If you don't know much about Drupal, but you thought this was cool still, and if this was too fast, then please, as I said before, I have this website called Workflows of AI, where you can look at simpler workflows to basically get the idea of what each of these field interpolations I'm doing does and how chaining works. Because I do understand that the workflow I did now was very complex. We will see if it works. So I actually, when I do these videos, I don't edit, and that's why you have to sit and wait now. But that's good also, it gives you a realistic view of how long time stuff takes to make. But that also means that if there's something going wrong, I will show that. Because with AI, it's not deterministic, which means that it can generate stuff that is not actually what I thought at the first iteration. You might have to reprompt and so on. So because of that, actually, it's yeah, it is what it is. Now something went wrong because the last rule should not take so long time. Yeah, so there was a cut there, by the way. I found the problem. Basically, the image that has been generated is so big that it DID won't accept it. So I have added into the DID rule now that it will compress the image, so you will not run into this problem. Here you can, by the way, see that it has generated a lot of fields. So it's just a video avatar that we need to do. So I'm just resaving, and we will see if it can also generate the video where I'm talking in rhyme. Well, the description of me is talking in rhyme. So just so you know, I want, as I said, I want to be honest when I'm showcasing stuff, because I know a lot of startups are showing things that seem completely, you know, it's blowing your mind what it can do with AI, but it's cherry picking results. In this case, I'm trying to show you what the AI Interpolator actually does and where you can run into problems. So let's look at this.
In the realm of tech where ideas fuse and sprawl, the AI Interpolator arose standing tall. From merging of text, it got its birthright name. Now with 50+ rules, it's no longer the same. It aims to create workflows, chains that bind, to generate content, leaving none behind. With future dreams of agents, project leads in Jira and Slack fulfilling all your needs. Finished.
Right, so we have something. For the voice, by the way, there is a Elevenlabs voice field, so you can actually, you could make that into a selection here. Actually, let's try that as well. I'm just gonna do this. It makes the video a little bit longer, but it might be interesting for you. So I'm just gonna create a new field here that is the 11 field voices, and we're gonna choose voice. And let's see here, we just take that. So this is a dynamic field that gets generated automatically, right? I'm just gonna make it required. I just realized we have to do to make sure it's filled out. And the cool thing we can do then is that in the dialog we can actually do copy this but take advanced mode. So context is the HTML, right? So we just take it in token mode and we take here value, so that is filled in, but then we're gonna take also the voice here, which is here, voice value. So now this is gonna be dynamically filled in, right? The store is still gonna be the same, so I will just do, well, there's one more thing I will do here. So I'm just gonna take the voice and put it up here after source image. So, and I have another image I've been playing around with here. That's Hugh Jackman, not huge, Jackman, and we do Angular history, maybe history of Angular. Let's see here, something, I mean this is really long, but that could be fun to see if it can take such a long. It should be able to. And then we have the image here of Mr. Jackman. So it's this image where he's sitting down, and we have to choose a voice here. So I'm gonna choose Scott Parker. That's the voice I'm using for my blog, for my podcast, by the way. So if you haven't seen this, there is podcast workflows of AI.com, where you can go and listen to a completely auto-generated podcast that comes weekly about Drupal news. So just go to this podcast.workflowsofai.com to get that. And I'm just gonna save now. And this is the newscaster's voice in this case then. And we will see what happens. So this will take some time again. I will just mute myself. I'm not gonna say anything interesting. You can just forward if you want in the YouTube video to see the results. Right, so doesn't look that much like Hugh Jackman. It looks like Louis Figo almost, but let's see.
From AngularJS in its prime, a transformation we've seen over time, to Angular with its might, making web apps a delightful sight. Through versions and years it grew, adapting as web standards flew, This journey of Angular's flight, a testament to its developers' insight.
Right. So that was just another example of this getting generated. Now this was very gimmicky, of course, but what you can use this for, because you can see it's still pretty fast. If you're a website, for instance, that caters to high-paying individuals, for instance, you could have a personalized video of the CEO of your company welcoming them to the website, right? So after they have registered, there's a video the next time they log in where the CEO says, hello, Marcus Johansson in my case, welcome to our website, blah, blah, blah. It's personalized, right? And there's a lot of other cool stuff I think you can do with this. So yeah, thank you for watching.